So, welcome to part 3, the final part, I promise, of this Kuwait Airways saga. I just couldn't make these 2 videos and not share the responses I've received from Kuwait Airways. It would be a huge, gaping, missing hole in this whole story. So I guess this is turning into a trilogy. I feel like the story is incomplete without what Kuwait Airways has said, how they responded in the multiple emails I've received from multiple people. And I've got to say, their emails really surprised me. So I'll be sharing all that. First, I just have to say thank you. Thank you so much for your support on these videos. I was terrified to post the videos because I was expecting a ton of hate. It's always kind of nerve-wracking to post any review that you feel is negative or that's going to be controversial. That's why I really tried to stick to the facts, not really insert my opinions about things. So again, I could not be more grateful for the response. If you're for some reason just joining us here in part 3, watch part 1 and part 2 first. I'll link those below. Part 1 is the actual review of what happened on my Kuwait Airways flight that was quite horrible. Long story short, I ended up being threatened by the crew. Part 2 goes more into detail. It explains how I was yelled at by the captain, how I was detained by police, how certain members of the ground staff threatened to sue me if I posted part 1. So if you haven't joined those parts of the story, make sure you tune into those first. But now we're here in part 3 to share what Kuwait Airways said. The final thing before I get into the airline's response and feedback is how I would handle this if I was at an airline, and what I hope that airlines all over the world learn from this. If someone is flying business class and they're impressed by it, don't you want people taking photos and videos and posting it on their story and posting photos of themselves in their comfortable seat? Same goes for premium economy, and same goes for economy if someone is impressed. Very rarely do I see videos or photos on social media from economy of people trashing the experience. It's more like, hey, going on vacation. That is all positive for an airline. So somewhere, for example, as part of the safety video, you can have a little memo that says, please don't take photos or videos of the crew, but that's it. That's all you need to say, because we live in an age where everyone has a camera on them at all times. We almost all have a phone or some other device that can take a photo. So trying to make people uncomfortable about doing that is just not where we're at in this day and age. Now, when it comes to crew, like the situation with this purser, what should the airline do in their training? If a purser suspects, and only if they suspect, that someone is deliberately taking photos or videos of other people or the crew, then I think procedure should be to approach the passenger and say, excuse me, sir, or excuse me, miss. I see you're taking photos, which is fantastic. We love you sharing your experience, but I just want to please remind you to be respectful, to be discreet, so that no crew or passengers who haven't approved of being on video appear in the video. That's it. Until someone is very obviously sticking a camera in someone's face without consent, I think that is as much as the crew could do. And in this situation on Kuwait Airways, there literally was no evidence that I was recording anyone else. So that, I think, would have been enough. So now that brings me to what Kuwait Airways has said about the situation and what the response was. So the first email of, 3 now that I've received from Kuwait Airways or people related to Kuwait Airways was very clearly personally written by the chairman of Kuwait Airways. Why do I know it was personally written and not by their PR firm or by the marketing team? Because that was very obvious in the text. There were spelling errors, there were grammatical errors, which all added to me to the authenticity of the email. So I'm certainly not bringing that up as something negative, and it also said sent from iPhone. So what did the chairman say? I'm going to blur out the name of the person who wrote it, but he says, "Dear sir, I'm the president of Kuwait Airways. I'm deeply sorry for what happened to you on board one of our flights from Bangkok. First, I would like to apologize for the unacceptable behavior of the flight crew chief on that flight and for the misconduct of the airport staff. I assure you that we at Kuwait Airways will not allow such an incident to pass without taking deterrent action against any of our employees who harm the company's reputation. Kuwait Airways has been serving our passengers for over 70 years, and we have never witnessed such misconduct toward our guests before. I would like to meet you in person to offer my apologies. Please reach out to me on my mobile or via WhatsApp. We would also like to invite you on any of our flights of your choice. Thank you and best regards. This is a polished version of that email. And what a fantastic response that is. I had never in my wildest dreams expected to hear from the president/chairman of the airline. I thought I would get an email from someone on the marketing or PR team. So getting this very personal email directly addressing the issue, not being defensive, I think is fantastic. The one part that concerned me a bit is about deterrent action against the employees. And I'll get to that in a second. Unfortunately, it came right before I posted the video, but after I posted part 2, I got an even more interesting email from none other than a member of the royal family of Kuwait. Now, unfortunately, I can't share the original email because this is has a big privacy disclaimer. In summary, I have to say that this is truly an exceptional response to this kind of incident. Just to give you an overview, he says he's extremely sorry about the unacceptable and unfortunate incident that occurred. He asks for some details about my flight number, date, and all that so that they can investigate and take action. And he also offers some gesture of goodwill, like a refund or another free flight, both of which I've declined. I don't need a refund. I don't need any more flights, but I appreciate that he offered that. And I think this response was truly class act. So that brings me to finally, after the first email and after going back and forth a bit with this incredibly kind person, he shared an official statement from the Kuwait Airways chairman. So let me read this as well. Dear Dan, thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. At Kuwait Airways, we hold passenger privacy and comfort as fundamental principles in our operations. Great. Passenger privacy is very important, and I like that he acknowledges the side of the passengers. Props to the chairman for addressing that. So then he says, simultaneously, we genuinely appreciate the importance of transparent and open reviews from our passengers, as these reviews help us constantly improve our services. Nice. We sincerely regret any distress or discomfort you experienced during your recent flight with us. While we neither confirm nor deny the specifics of the allegations, we fully acknowledge your concerns and have initiated a thorough investigation into the incident. Again, class act response, not confirming or denying the allegations. That's all you could ask them to do. I won't ask them to confirm. So, as chairman, he says, ensuring that every passenger feels respected and comfortable on board is personally important to me. We recognize that clear communication around our policies regarding filming and passenger privacy is essential, and we will ensure these guidelines are clearly stated going forward. We also intend to communicate directly with you regarding the outcome of our investigation. Interesting. There won't be a part 4, don't worry, but I'll share it somehow. If you're subscribed, you'll see it. And the specific measures we'll take to prevent such situations in the future. We value your feedback immensely, and once again, thank you for your understanding and patience. I think this response perfectly balances their various interests while also being quite neutral, while also respecting and addressing my concerns and showing that they take them seriously. So I think this is as positive a response as you can expect to receive in this type of situation. I look forward to seeing what the results of this investigation is. I shared the flight details, and then I just made one small request, which I want on the record because I genuinely, although the purser obviously was not doing a great job, the last thing I want is to ruin someone's life or to have their job taken away from them. I think there are other ways to solve this. So I say, if I may make one request, it's that some sympathy be extended to the purser involved. I would hate for his life or career to be negatively impacted due to a lack of training or preparedness in how to handle a situation like this. I hope he'll be given a chance to learn and grow from this. As I hinted at earlier in the video, I think it's essential for airlines to educate their crew in how to handle situations like this. It's 2025, and to not really have any training on how to de-escalate a situation where you feel uncomfortable, but also to potentially have a culture where crew feel very worried about losing their jobs to the extent that they would go as far as we saw this purser go to try to prevent me from uploading a video where I might criticize his service. That's also concerning and something that can hopefully be worked on. So that is it. That's the Kuwait Airways trilogy. Let's move on. The next video will be hopefully a glowing positive review. I'll try to plan it that way. So once again, if you haven't subscribed, do you see how close I'm getting to 1 million? I am just so excited and so grateful after 15 years that we are actually getting there. I'm also getting a bit scared and anxious, looking down like, oh my gosh, we have come so far to almost be at this point. So on that note, thank you again for joining me. Thank you for your support, and thank you for seeing the problems with the flight that I saw. I'll see you all in the next video. And until then, as always, fly safe.